recently I had a customer that does rubber injection molding come to me and say, hey, super excited with the work you guys have been doing. We're getting a ton of leads through our website. But the one thing I'd like to do is just increase the quality of those leads. Get some more high volume jobs, more high dollar jobs. And I said, okay, well, this is great. What we need to start thinking about now is certification. Are certifications important for manufacturers? I work with a lot of manufacturers, and I have worked with manufacturers throughout the country, all different types, injection molders, machine shops, fabrication shops, pretty much everything you can imagine. And what I've kind of come to understand is that the more competitive the space that you exist in, so for example, a machining space, very competitive space, there's a lot of machine shops throughout the country. The more competitive the space you exist in, the more important it is for you to have certifications. Now, it may not be extremely important if you're a very, very small shop and you are getting just overflow from some larger shops and you're happy with the level of business that you're getting. But recently I had a customer that does rubber injection molding come to me and say, hey, super excited with the work you guys have been doing. We're getting a ton of leads through our website. But the one thing I'd like to do is just increase the quality of those leads. Get some more high volume jobs, more high dollar jobs. And I said, okay, well, this is great. What we need to start thinking about now is certification. So we talked about the ISO 9001 certification and a route that he could get that done pretty quickly and efficiently. And the reason why I suggested this is that when someone is looking for an ISO 9001 certified rubber injection molding shop, that company that's looking for that has some higher standards than somebody that's just looking for one or two parts or just smaller, not as profitable jobs. Now that's not always the case. Now, so you're sometimes going to have a very large job that might come in that does not require the ISO 9001 certification. But from a digital perspective, there's no other real way for us to characterize this shop, this rubber molding shop, as a credible provider of services without the ISO 9001 certification. So how do we use that? How do we actually leverage that certification to get that traffic? It's as simple as, now that we have the certification, now we can write a page of content. We can write a page that's labeled ISO 9001 certified rubber injection molding company. And so now anyone who's searching for that term has the potential to see us. Now, I'm very much oversimplifying the process of search engine optimization, but that's just kind of the step one, is having the certification and writing a page for it. I guess step one and step two. So companies that want larger or more legitimate leads can certainly benefit from certifications. Another example is, in the specific use case of a company that wants to get more industry specific leads. So I've had customers come to me before and say, hey, we've done a lot of medical work, okay, and we don't have any medical certifications, but the customers that we work with haven't required it. Well, the problem is for us to get in front of new companies that want, somebody that can do parts that would be applied to the medical space. The only way we're really going to be able to get in front of them is if we have, an ISO 13485 certification. Because, when we look at a keyword perspective and we think about the term medical machine shop, well, no one's Googling that term. Nobody's going to look for that. But we do know that there is search volume for the term ISO 13485 certified machine shop. And we also know that anybody Googling that term is probably in the medical space, and they're probably looking for a machine shop that can produce parts for the medical space. So we looked at the type of company that wants larger, more legitimate, more profitable leads, getting a certification to kind of show their own legitimacy. And then we looked at companies that want to get into a specific industry, like the medical industry. The same applies for the aerospace industry. So if you want to get more aerospace work, you can either just spread a wide net, and every once in a while you're going to get one that is in the aerospace industry, or you could be really, really specific about it, and you could get your AS 9100 certification. And then that anybody that's looking for an AS 9100 certified injection molder or machine shop, they are looking for someone that can do aerospace work. So as a marketing guy, I'm always thinking about this from a keyword perspective, because one of the big things that we do for our customers is get them ranked higher in search results for those terms that are going to bring them the ideal customer. So let's just talk for a minute about a company that maybe is not in as competitive of a space. So, in this case, you might have someone that manufactures a proprietary type of wire. Okay. So they have a very, very specific customer set that is hiring them or purchasing product from them because they have this specific product, and there's not a lot of other people out there that offer that product. In those particular scenarios, unless your customers are requiring it, unless that wire is going into an aerospace application, they're saying, hey, we can only buy that wire from you if you have the AS9100 certification. In those cases, it's not as important for you to have those certifications. So let's talk for a minute about what's the process of getting your AS9100 certification, your ISO 9001 certification, or your ISO 13485, and there are other ones out there. So there's a lot of routes that you can go with this. And this is a question that, has been addressed. I've had some recent podcast conversations with some guys that have been in space a long time. And one of them said to me that I see the certifications as not so much a real indicator of anything other than our legitimacy. They just display, or they project your credibility to the market. So from that perspective, he wasn't really that concerned about where he was getting that certification, because there's a lot of different, certifying bodies. There's a lot of people out there that can get you that certification. And a lot of people are intimidated by the process of it because, you hear about the, $30,000-$40,000 a year recertification process, and, the weeks of preparation that go into it and all that. And I may make some enemies here, but I'm specifically speaking to smaller shops that want to be able to just show that they have these quality standards inside of their shop and do not have the budget to pay $30,000 per year to get the certification, and don't have weeks to set aside because you're the owner of the business, you're running it. You just don't have the time to, to shut down your shop and have this recertification done. So there are some options out there. And one of the options that I've come across recently, and I'm not specifically promoting this service, but I'm just more or less saying it to kind of make you aware that there are other options out there that can kind of give you a little bit less cost and a little bit less work to go into it. So the organization that I'm speaking about specifically offers a online only or a virtual certification process. And it's also very inexpensive. I mean, we're talking to the tune of probably 10% what some of these large, certification companies are going to charge you. So if you're interested in learning a little bit more about this, like I said, I'm not selling any specific certifier, and I don't necessarily want to advocate. I want you to do your own research and find it, but I just kind of want to make you aware that this can have a big impact. Certification can have a big impact on, the type of leads and how many leads you're getting in through your website. And there are some inexpensive, kind of low overhead, easy to implement ways to do it. If you've enjoyed this video today and you would like to learn some more about how to get certified, how you can leverage that certification to get more business for your company, go to wecreate.com, fill out the contact form. That'll go to me, and I'll reach back out to you and we can have a conversation about it. Also, please look through the rest of my YouTube channel. There's a lot of really great information about how to optimize your website, how to build content for your manufacturing business, and really just how to grow it. Please like this video, share it, follow the channel, and like I said, reach out on wecreate.com if you'd like to learn more. Thank you.